Hey everyone, welcome back to TBM Sports. Happy Thanksgiving weekend. Let's talk about the Friday games in college football. I'll have a separate video breakdown of my picks for the Saturday slate as well, as we all wait the game between Ohio State and Michigan. But we're going to cover the Friday game, so let's get into it. Let's talk some college football. If you guys are new here to the channel, make sure you all hit the like button. Please subscribe down below and join us. Okay, but let's hit the card, and we will use Outlier to break this all down. If you guys are not using Outlier, this is what we're going to look at for the Week 14 best numbers available. Okay, so you can see it right here on your screen. These are the best numbers in their respective books that they are being offered. Do not overpay for juice. If you need a 7-day free trial, there is a link down below for Outlier. Sign up today. Okay, so let's look into it. The first game that we'll talk about as we do look into some action, Kent State and NIU. Okay, this is a game I don't have a play in, but it's been fun to watch the MAC unfold this year, and a little bit different than I think we've had in prior years. None of these teams I would have in contention. This is a game that I'm going to be staying away from, honestly. As we do look at Kent State, the 5.5 points, though, for the Golden Flash is a little bit attractive. If this ever did get to a 6, I may get interested a little bit, but no play for me in this early noon kickoff on the Friday noon window. Okay, moving down into that noon window, let's talk Iowa and Nebraska. Total set at 38.5. You can find 39.5s out there. 7-4 for both of these clubs coming into this contest. For me, guys, it's on the under, okay? If I was going to get involved, I do lean towards the under. This is a game where it's going to be a little bit chilly. Weather's going to be an issue, and despite the quarterback improvement and the offensive attack by the Hawkeyes this season in comparison to last, I just think this is going to be a sludge kind of game where we get a lot of punts, a lot of missed field goals, and not a lot of scoring. I'd be shocked if we got 40 points in this contest. So I do lean towards the under between Iowa and Nebraska. No official play, okay? Next, let's talk about the Egg Bowl, Ole Miss and Mississippi State. 7 points, 7.5 now, actually, for the Bulldogs if you want it. I do think that there is one way to approach this game and one way only, okay? If you think Lane Kiffin in this departure potentially to LSU, I think that's going to be the favorite over Florida. Personally, I would not be shocked if Lane did stay. Ole Miss says they will match any kind of contract offering he does get by any respective school. But I think, though, in this game, okay, Mississippi State has played spoiler a couple times this season. 5-6, they're at home. I do think this is going to be a closer game than many lead on to believe. I think Ole Miss, they're 10-1, number 6 in the country. I do think this is something where, all things being equal, they are a little bit vulnerable, okay? So of the teams in the 12-team playoff format, Ole Miss is kind of that team that I'd probably want to play as long as you have the way to match up against them defensively. I think that Ole Miss may see a little bit of a, I guess you would say, humbling approach to this game. I just worry about the distractions, the players. They're going to want to make the playoffs. They're going to want to have their postseason continued. But if he does take that job, that he will make an announcement after this game. And my money says that he will stay in Ole Miss. But if he does take that job at LSU, watch out because this will be absolute turmoil in the state of Mississippi. So 7.5 for Mississippi State. It's attractive. It's kind of where I would gravitate towards. Me personally, I do not like to bet rivalry games, and this is a rivalry weekend, so I'm going to stay away from this one as well. But I do lend towards the conversation of Mississippi State plus the 7.5, and I do also think that this is one where you could have found some good numbers, right? 22-1 a couple weeks ago for Ole Miss to miss the playoffs. That was a number that did interest me. Now that number has fallen significantly, being so due to the fact that there's always that potential, right? In a 12-team playoff format, I don't think it'll be that much of an issue, but we saw this with Florida State being kept outside of the top 4. Quarterback goes down. Committee looks at the team a little bit differently, okay? So if Ole Miss plays a close game against Mississippi State, I think still at 10-1 with no concerning injuries, they would be in the playoffs. I don't know if they would just basically screw the players over a coach leaving, but I'd be very hard-pressed to see Lane coach in the playoffs if he was going to depart and take the LSU job. So something to consider, but if you do think Mississippi State is live, you can find a better number than plus 240, basically taking Ole Miss to not make the playoffs. Because if Ole Miss loses this game and Lane does go to LSU, I can pretty much guarantee you they will be excluded from the playoffs, okay? And that's going to be kind of how I approach this game. So if you do like the Bulldogs, take Ole Miss to miss the playoffs over Mississippi State on the money line. Okay, a little bit of a sneaky way to play that one. Next game, Utah and Kansas. No official play for me, but Utah gave up a ton of rushing yards at home last time out. I think Kansas plus 10.5, as long as they show up. I know they're 5-6, a little bit better than their record does lead on to believe. And I think that this is the handicap where I do like the Jayhawks, but not going to get involved. Utah's season is now over, 14th, as they do have a 9-2 record. So pretty much out of the playoffs, in my opinion. But still, this is one where I think Kansas will have their way offensively. Total set right where I would have it at 60. So I won't be playing this game, but I do like the Jayhawks a little bit at plus 10.5. Okay. Going down the board a little bit, we will get in that first official play, San Diego State and New Mexico. I am on the under, okay? I am on the under. I did take this play under 42.5 at minus 115. This number has fallen from 43.5. I do like it. Pretty much anything under 40, okay? I think this is kind of where we've seen a couple times in the last few weeks. Both of these clubs, they're not scoring and they're not letting their opponents score as well. Okay, even against some defenses that they should put up more, even against some offenses where they should, I guess you would say, allow more points. This is where we see defense being the key for both of these teams, and failure to score, especially with a game where it's 9-2, 8-3. A lot of, I guess you would say, competition will be found here in this Friday spot. I like the under, and that will be my first official play, under 42.5 at minus 115. Okay, Temple in North Texas. I did consider this one. North Texas, I think 10-1 on the year. Look for their offensive team total. Okay, this is where I lend towards the Mean Green and their offensive machine. We were on this one last week, and this was one of the easiest bets I think I've made for a team total on the season. Didn't look too good in the first half, but North Texas, if we do want to take them in this department, this is where you could find over 41.5 team total. It's a big number, but I do think it is live, over 41.5. I wouldn't do the 42.5, but over 41.5 going against Temple, I think is very much in play. They've hit 42 points in 4 of their last 5 games. So if you did want to get involved with this game, that would be the play that I would make. But other than that, I don't have any kind of official play. Outside of the next game that I do have won, Georgia and Georgia Tech. Okay, historically, we've seen this game go a couple ways. As of recent, Georgia Tech has put up much more of a fight. However, Georgia is one of the teams, I think, outside of Ohio State. And I got to be honest with you guys, my 3 teams with futures monies right now, they're all extreme values. Okay, we're talking 10-1 departments. Notre Dame, I have a bigger number on them. However, I still want to take a piece of them at 10-1. Georgia, 10-1 as well. And also Texas Tech are my 3 college football futures outside of the likes of Ohio State. Obviously, the chalky selection, not going to bet them at plus 120 or whatever it is. However, Georgia does roll in this spot, and I think that they will end up going 11-1 or 10-2 as, or sorry, 11-2 as they will pretty much find their way in the SEC playoff, the SEC championship, I should say. But I did take Georgia minus 13.5, best number you can find out there right now in the market. So give me the Bulldogs Friday minus 13.5 as my second official best bet. Okay, a couple other games, Purdue, Indiana. A lot of points for the Hoosiers to lay on the road, but Purdue just does not get me there. This is a big number. I don't want anything to do with it, but I do think Indiana does roll. This one will not be close. That's how I see that game playing out. And then the last game that I do kind of have a lean on is Texas A&M and Texas, okay? 52, 51.5. I think you can find 51s still in the market. That would be where I would lend towards the over, okay? Texas A&M, we saw what they did against LSU. I think they do put up points here in this spot, and I think Texas and Arch Manning have been playing some good ball, okay? 8-3. I don't think there's a puncher's chance for them to make the playoff anymore, pretty much on the outside looking in with no way inside. But I do think that this game will be one where Texas does play well, and I think they will put up some points. And I look for the Aggies to get into the 30s. So as long as we get into a 30-20 kind of game, this one will go sailing over the total. So I do lean towards Texas A&M and the Longhorns going over 51.5. Okay, quick recap, guys. I will recap the 2 best bets for Friday. That's where we're going to take Georgia minus 13. 13.5, and the New Mexico San Diego State going under 42.5 at minus 115. All right, appreciate you guys. Let's cash some tickets. Enjoy the holiday, and make sure you have that notification bell turned on. I will drop my Saturday video out today as well, so it'll be out very shortly, and that will be one where we highlight the Ohio State-Michigan game, give you guys my insight along the way as well. But I thank you all for being part of TBM Sports. If you haven't hit the like button or subscribe, please do so now, and we'll see you guys all in the next video. Cheers.